preparation before everybody said, okay, let's do it. And Bob was really scrabbling around for a while, trying to convince everybody it was a great idea. A lot of people were waiting for somebody else to say yes. And it was one of those kind of snowball things. You know, once one or two people said yes, I mean, you know, we said, yes, okay, we can do it, but we can't do it. He said, you've got to play in the evening. He said, we can't. We're at the Wembley Arena for 2 weeks. So we can only play in the afternoon. He said, well, that's great. As long as you can play, then I know I'll get other people to come along.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a snowball thing, but, you know, it was a pretty frantic day, but and amazingly, most of it worked. I mean,
yeah.
You know, it was incredible, really. It was an incredible, extraordinary experience.
Oh, well, I mean, I remember watching it. I had Nick Kershaw on a couple of weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago, on the show, and he says it went past in a flash, but I think there was all sorts of problems. I mean, the stage was sort of a bit rickety, from what I understand, and it spun round like one band was playing out the front, and the other band was setting up, and they spun the stage round.
Yeah.
Can you remember who was on before you?
Oh, lordy. I can't. I've got a clue.
No, that's all right.
I can't remember.
Okay, so we mentioned sort of the highlight. I mean, playing at Live Aid's got to be the pinnacle of most people's career. I mean, what would you say the low point has been?
A low point. Oh gosh. Well, a low point of the career, I suppose, when the stage collapsed in Switzerland.
Really?
Yeah, thankfully it collapsed before we got there. And it was a one and only gig we've ever pulled.
Really?
In 20 odd years, yeah.
Wow.
The stage just sort of gave way before we even got to it, and the promoter was, I think, he just raked over the coals. We went back and played the gig a bit later, but that was a bit of a low point.
I've heard of bringing the house down, but that's a little bit much, isn't it?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. What would you say is your favourite song, both sort of one you've recorded or been involved in, and one you enjoy now, you listen to?
Well, I do remember. You know, things like recording Telegraph Road, which was quite a monumental piece of work to put together. You know, with the power station. And you know, the 14 minutes long song is quite difficult to get right. We used to work in the sound checks on that one with all the different bits and pieces. You know, that when we were sound checking, we just sort of used to work on sections of the song, and gradually it all got put together. And I mean, Mark had the story already, but you know, to get the story to work, we had to sort of work away. You know, the piano and the bass, where's the bass going to be? Where does this come in? When do we speed it up? When do we slow it down? It was a monumental task, and it was such a pleasure when it came off. And I still love playing it now. I've played it recently, you know, with some guys in Italy, and it was fantastic, actually. It's one wonderful piece of work. But, you know, when somebody asks me a question like that, it's very difficult. I mean, things like Brothers in Arms are wonderful songs. Romeo and Juliet and things like that. I mean, the Telegraph goes into, you know, Tunnel of Love, and I mean, you know, we were spoilt, really. We had a lot of stuff to choose from.
You wrote some classic songs. What about the favourite song you sort of listen to now? Is there an artist or a band you listen to now and you think, that's fabulous, I wish I'd recorded that?
Well, I was thinking about this the other day, actually, because somebody asked me a similar question, and the trouble with that is that it depends what kind of mood you're in.
Okay.
I think Jeff Buckley's version of Hallelujah is fairly remarkable.
Yeah.
I love Bean and Fleece album by Van Morrison, which is not a terribly well-known one of his. I still have to say, despite Bob Dylan's live performances these days, I still love his. I love the way he makes records. He's still writing some incredible songs. I mean, I think that's quite remarkable after a career spanning something like 50 years. Yeah.
And I think the way he's abused himself, we won't go into that one probably. And you're on tour this year. You're coming to the Watford Coliseum on the 5th of October. What can people expect when they come and see you? Are you doing sort of you'll be doing tracks from Testing the Water, I guess?
Well, we're doing tracks from Testing the Water, and also we'll be doing. We're probably going to play haven't quite decided yet, but we'll certainly play things like Brothers in Arms and Walk Alive and Money for Nothing and Romeo and Private Investigations for the Insultants, of course, and maybe a few other Dire Straits things. But I also play a Leonard Cohen song called Manhattan. First Protect Manhattan. Do a sort of fairly rocked up version of that.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be sort of 50-50 Dire Straits, John Illsley, and I've got a really great band. We've got Phil Palmer coming over from Italy, who played with Dire Straits on the On Every Street tour in 1991. He's going to join me, which is great. So there's pretty good fancy guitar playing going on.
Yeah, and is that your daughter that's on the album with you?
Yeah, Jessie sang some harmonies, actually with another girl called Jess. Who's Jess Greenfield, who was the other girl singing with Jess on the album. Jess Greenfield's coming out on the road with me.
And your daughter's not?
My daughter's got her own band.
Oh, has she really?
Yeah, called Native Roses. So
they're out on the road.
They're doing a few dates, and they've got. I think the album is coming out fairly shortly, if it's not out now.
So music is still running in the blood in the family then.
Yeah, I mean, she's finding out how difficult it is to move forward, like a lot of bands do.
Well,
it's tricky.
I think everybody thinks everybody else's job is easy. I mean, I'm spoiled. I go to a lot of concerts, a lot of theatre, and I see people up on the stage, and you sort of think they make that look easy, or that looks easy, but it's only good if you make it look easy. I mean, I've had the pleasure of seeing Dire Straits 2 or 3 times over the years. I saw them at Woburn as well, and you make it look so simple. And I know how. I mean, I'm not a musician, but I know how hard it is to be that good. If you understand what I'm saying.
Well, you just got to practice a lot.
Practice, and you make it look so simple. Anyway, what we're going to do? We're going to say goodbye in a few minutes. We're going to be playing your single, which is out today on the 29th of September.
Right.
It's called Railway Tracks. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the new single?
Well, it was written while I was in hospital in isolation when I was having the treatment, and it's really about that experience and surviving it. And the chorus is, life doesn't run on railway tracks. It ain't white and black,
No. One last thing. I did read about you. You're one of the 200 public figures who signed the letter in The Guardian opposing the Scottish independence.
Oh my God, that's interesting.
Did you not?
I did. Just 1 second. I'm just going to turn this off. My phone's ringing. Sorry. Yes, I did. Because very simply, I think that I'm not sure it makes any sense.
No, I'm not sure it makes any sense. To have two.
And I think that they're going to have to find a lot more better reasons, or Mr. Salmon's going to have to come up with a lot more better reasons than the ones he's coming up with. But I don't want to go into that.
No, we won't go. I just happened to see that on your sort of CV as such, and I thought, well, that's quite an interesting thing. That anyway, we'll play Railway Tracks. We're almost out of time. Thank you very much for coming on the show today, John.
Pleasure.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Great to talk to you. I mean, and the music of Dire Straits. It's always interesting, talking to people who have, should we say, been around a little while, have done a little bit round the park. Survived. Yeah, I think we're all trying to do that. As I say every morning myself, every day above ground's always a bonus. Been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for your time today. Good luck with the single.
Thank you.
Ain't no further place to go.
My second guest today is, well, a lady from Milkshake, and she's doing a show called Milkshake Live in the area. In fact, she's doing it in Radlett on Saturday the 18th of October. A lady called Amy Thompson. You're a presenter on Milkshake, I believe, Amy.
Hello, yes I am, yes. I've been there for 5 years now.
5 years. That's a long while. Because you have to get up very early in the morning, don't you?
Yes, we do. It's live, so we go live just after 6 o'clock, so it's very, very early indeed.
Is that 6 o'clock in the morning?
Yes.
I didn't realise it was. I didn't realise it was 2 6 o'clocks.
Yeah, it's a bit of an alien time to a lot of people, but for me, it's the start of my day.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
a lot of people are actually going to bed about that sort of time, or just before that, aren't they? But never mind. I mean,
not me.
I mean, the show's aimed at the very young, isn't it? The children 2 to 7, would you say?
Yeah, basically, Milkshake is a preschool strand on TV. It's aimed at under 5, but we have our audience, is sort of up to 7, 8. So usually we have little mini milkshakers come into the show with their older brothers or sisters, and they've grown up watching Milkshake. So, it's a really broad range for all the family. There's songs in the show that the adults will know and love.